Yo, yo, Dan Land Pro here. We are now live. We haven't been live in a while. You know, I come on here every once in a while just to share a little something with you. Right now, I'm working on what you call 11 Labs, Volume 3, Voice Cloning. I'm working on a tutorial for that. And what you have to do is make sure your background is real clear. Tape your voice, 2 minutes, some cases 30 minutes. 2 minutes if you just want a regular voice clone that you can work with the settings. 30 minutes if you want a professional voice clone of your own voice. And the reason I'm showing you that is because now you see where AI is headed. I remember having conversations with people and they thought AI was just a temporary thing. And I was telling them where AI was headed as far as image creation, as far as voiceovers, as far as broadcast voice, as far as creating avatars, human-like avatars, including images of yourself, where you can make videos, faceless videos, or you can make videos where you're actually using your own image and your own voice over and over, so you don't have to have the problems of being in a recording studio, where when we read or we do voiceovers, we have the tendency as human beings to mess up, have to start over, have to start that paragraph over, have to do a lot of editing. So it can be long and tedious work. Now you have voice generators such as 11 Labs and others where you can actually do that work for you. So I'm working on that particular tutorial. While I'm here, I wanted to share with you. So I hope you have been enjoying some of the art that we've been creating with AI, which I'm going to share a few of them with you in what I call the image carousel, which I created in Wirecast, because I still love Wirecast. I still like to use Wirecast. And you can use your image carousels in Wirecast. And as you can see, this can be done in so many different ways. I can make that longer if I like. I want it to be short, quick, to the point. Now, if just say I was doing events, or I was doing what we call in the dance community flyers, or I was doing something to that effect, then I would make these transitions longer as far as the imagery staying on screen. I could also make them bigger, or I can do a format in a short form format or portrait format where you can actually see these images much longer, a lengthy period of time on screen. What I want you to see is some of the imageries that I've created. So if you've been to my TikTok channels, where you see I'm generating a lot of bells and whistles over there, I'm getting a lot of play over there, a lot of hundreds of hits, thousands of hits as far as some of the art that I'm generating with AI, because I'm actually generating art that can be used as print, as t-shirts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can use them in so many different ways. We're just showing you the power of AI. Now I'm doing a lot of these in what I call Chicago bop art, and that give you that animated look, or I do it oil painting, or I do some of the other things, digital art, some of the things that you see me do. So these are just examples of some of those creations, and you can do them in different formats. So here's another format. I'm gonna show you square format that a lot of us see in Instagram and on other social media platforms. So you can do it in long form, you can do it in short form. I can do this in video formats. And then, like I say, I use Wirecast and all type of programs in order to distribute my content or my creations. So you see me on Facebook or you see me on YouTube, but we be on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, so many of them that we try to put our content on. So Facebook, what I do with Facebook is social media, but it's not always the most powerful as far as your viewership or your subscriptions. You're gonna get more action on TikTok and Instagram. So I try to put stuff on there. And the reason I show people this stuff is because, you can have conversations with people. And sometimes I think people believe if you're not screaming and hollering and jumping up and down, that what you're saying is not serious, or what you're saying is not as deep as you may be communicating it. So they question it, they challenge it. I'm just a laid back person, so I'm gonna let you go ahead on and do what you do. But I've told people about, even back when we was all stay at home, I was telling people the power of live streaming, because at that time, live streaming was powerful because we had to stay at home. So people would sit and watch you for hours and hours People will sit and watch you for times. Now I try to keep things short. And when I say short, for me, 30 minutes is short. That's a long video for me, 30 minutes, because unlike when we stay at home, people are not going to sit and watch you too long unless you have some interest to really say. So I was telling people then that was the situation as far as live streaming, the power of live streaming. And as you know, they had a lot of things for sale as far as setting up your podcast, things like that. People question that. And then the amazing thing was, like I said, I'm laid back. I'm not going to get too excited about people's opposing positions. But then now after the stay home was over and everybody had utilized that to their advantage, you have a lot of people coming to you saying, okay, set me up, put me on live stream, and they expect their viewership to be high or their subscriptions to be high when they're not going to be high because that time had passed. You missed that particular ship. But as you see, there's another ship. No matter what ship is selling out of port, there's another ship coming in port. And then you saw AI come on the scene. And now you see generative field. You see AI can make videos. It can create B-roll. You see the creation of avatars. You see animations. You see voice generators. You see music generators. You see a lot of things that AI is doing now. So I can share that with you. Just like I said, I was talking to a person and they were saying that AI was temporary. It was going to be a trend. It was going to be a thing that passed. That's like saying live streaming or podcasts are just going to be things that pass. And that's not so. One ship sails, another ship come in. So now you see we creating art. So when I create art, it's not to take away from those artists who paint on canvas or who do it in human form, because that takes a lot of creativity, a lot of power, a lot of imagination. And I don't think computers can replace that. However, I do think that there's a form of art now, which you could call AI art, that your imagination can capture as far as what you want to prompt AI to create as far as content for you and the different formats that you can put it in. So you see me use Adobe Express, you see me use Adobe Premiere, you see me use Adobe After Effects, you see me use a lot of Adobe programs along with Wirecast, along with StreamYard, along with so many different platforms that however your imagination is going, and that's what you want to create. So I just want you to see these examples of what we could do as far as imagery. And most of these images are AI created, but you still have to tell AI what to do. So if I have an idea as far as, for this example right here, it's buffalo soldiers or those riding horses. I wanted to capture something. Now I can also take this into Adobe Photoshop and use generative field to expand, or generative expand, to expand these images in forms that I can use in so many different ways. So I sometimes leave the legs off or sometimes leave certain parts of the image off, because you still have pirates. You still have people that will take certain things and use them to their benefit. So until they have the full image, then they can't really use it in the way that you might be planning to use it. So even though I share those things, everything is not just a free giveaway. So you can go into Photoshop and you can use what you call generative expand, just like generative field. Once you learn the prompts and you learn the ways to do things, then you can tell Photoshop how you want that image to be. You can put it in the sizes and the aspect ratios that you want to use in some of your print and demand. You can use it in so many different ways. I know one young man, he has a whole brand that he puts out, not just him, but a number of people. So we can move forward with those things. And like I say, when you tell people things or you share things with people, then you expect people to move forward if that's their interest. But I don't bang my head on the wall or go through any changes with people. I let them be. And then they come back to you and say, why you didn't tell me that you knew such and such and such and such, or you knew how to do such and such. And I always just look at them and just walk away. Because, I mean, if you're not jumping up and down and screaming and banging your head on the wall, sometimes people don't want to hear what you're really talking about, regardless of how helpful it may be to them. So you can play those games or play those games with other people. I don't play a lot of games because I've been doing media and content creation for quite a while, before AI, before live streaming was trending. And I did it on so many levels and in so many environments, to the point that I don't really have to argue with people. I do it now because it's fun. And I like seeing people learn. I like seeing people elevate. What I don't like is people thinking at my age I'm competing or need to compete with them. You got to do a lot of reading to compete. You got to do a lot of studying. So it's easy for people to think that they can just wake up and do what you do. That's like waking up thinking you're going to be a master dancer. Dancer been dancing for 30 years and you think you can do it, take a couple of lessons in 2 or 3 weeks and you're going to dance like they dance. That's impossible. And that's anything. That's like a seasoned, experienced lawyer. You can read all the law books you want. You're not going to just wake up and be a seasoned, experienced lawyer. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the grind. And a seasoned lawyer is not going to compete with you because stuff that you learn and he already know on the back of his hand. So it's the same thing with media. It's the same thing with content creation. So never feel like that the opportunity that people are opportunity for you, your opportunity for them. So your worth and your value is what you study. And when you know that you study long enough to the point that you can do whatever the job is or solve the problem that needs to be solved, then you understand sometimes when you're sitting at the table with people that want to listen or people that want to work in a happy, cooperative environment from those who in that manipulative state or they're in that authoritative state to the point that they think they know something that they don't really know, or they might try to triangulate people and pit people against each other in order to get the best product, which is not always a good thing to do. Because what I'm usually do is I'm gonna surrender that position. The people that you think are better, I'm gonna let you use those people and see what happens. And what they usually find out is that they may know one aspect of it, but they don't know all aspects of it. So they may be able to do a live stream and they can't do image or content creation, or they can't do social media management, or they can't do something else because they don't have the experience. So what I do, instead of challenging that or competing with that, I pray for those people because a person put them in that triangulate position. And that manipulator is actually triangulating people, trying to get the best out of those people. When that person, they self, who's triangulating the other people, can't do the work, they're self. So sometimes when you listen to manipulators or you're at the table with manipulators, you'll always find that manipulators can talk about what other people can do, but they can't actually do that job themselves. So it's no different when I was fixing machines or when I'm doing air conditioning, when I'm doing whatever it is that I specialize in, because some things I have certificates and licenses in other than what I do here. You'll find that people can talk about those things, but they can't necessarily do the work. And it's a form of manipulation. So when you're sitting at the table with manipulators, so I could talk all day. I just want to come on here and share these things with you. So like I said, we're going to clone my voice in the next tutorial so you can see how to clone a voice or clone your voice. And then you can use your voice in different videos without having to sit there and do those voiceovers and reads and table reads over and over and over. I showed you earlier in a tutorial on Steppers Express at YouTube where I did a small play or script, wrote a script with 2 characters, and then I used 11 labs for those 2 characters to talk or to communicate with each other or interact with each other. No different, than if you were sitting at a play. So we just share all these things with you. And hopefully those who have an interest in it, like I do, can get something from it and we can continue to grow. So I'm not going to keep on chit-chat. As you see, some of these images are very nice. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just saying AI is capable of creating anything that your imagination can come up with once you learn the prompts, because AI can do nothing unless you tell it what to do. That's where we are with it now. And it's not a trend, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So my suggestion to all the environments that I ever worked in, whether it was spiritual, whether it was government, whether it was stepping, whatever special occasions, that you try to embrace AI on some platform and use it to your benefit, especially the young, because this is where the world is headed. And then I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get off. Even the energy grids, all the stuff you hear about energy now, ComEd, and you hear about solar farms and things like that, that's because AI requires a lot of energy. It sucks up energy. It absorbs energy it just absorbs it. And as it grows, as you see OpenAI and some of these other platforms, the more they grow, the more demands is put on energy. So that is why you hear people talking about going back to nuclear energy and some of these other things, solar farms and all of these things, because pretty soon the regular grids that we see, power grids that we see, it won't be able to handle the demands of AI. So we have to understand that machine learning, and that's really where AI come from. Machine learning is a very powerful thing, and it can be used in so many different ways. I've emphasized it several times. I just so happen to use it in an artistic way as far as imagery, video production, etc. But there's so many ways that we use AI now, all the way up to writing scripts that can produce an app in probably 2% of the time it used to take to make an app. It can write a web page. It can do CSS. It can do all-time spreadsheets. It can do so much. So my thing is that we have to embrace it. So till next time, my name is Danland Pro. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to share. I'm going to continue to share for as long as I have the power to share, the energy to share, and God bless me to share. Till next time, my name is Danland Pro. Peace. Boom, boom, in stream.